His love life is talked about all over the internet. He was on Dancing with the Stars, despite not being able to dance. He once wrangled a kangaroo with his bare hands.
I did what?
He's your favorite reality TV fuckboy reformed. He can make a woman fall in love at first sight. He is Harry Jowsey, boyfriend material.
Welcome back to the podcast. This is Boyfriend Material with your boyfriend, Harry Jowsey. In this podcast, we talk about sex, dating, relationships, and we are back with another episode, which means you're loving it, I'm loving it, and Alex Cooper doesn't want to fire me. So we're doing well. I'm wearing the Boyfriend Material shirt because, you know, we're boyfriend material. But today I really want to talk about falling in love on reality dating shows. And I want to take you back to my first ever dating show where I had a TV romance and kind of walk you through those feelings. Why do people cry? Why are people so dramatic on these shows? And I want to kind of shed light on this whole industry a little bit. So my first reality show was called Heartbreak Island. And I think I was like 18, 19. No, I was 19. And I legitimately looked like I hadn't eaten in like 12 years. Like I was so frail. I don't know why they wanted me on. Maybe it was me sending in like very raunchy photos to get on the show. But we filmed this show in Fiji. Now, Heartbreak Island, if you haven't seen it, please don't watch it. It's pretty much just like a big bowl of spaghetti, and each spaghetti strain is like a different show idea. So I didn't think they even know what the fuck it was. Like looking back, I was watching it. I was like, are we meant to like win challenges? Are we meant to be in love? What is going on? How does it work? I still don't know, and I won that shit. So it was a very confusing show idea. I don't know how they sold it. But the craziest kicker in this whole situation is if you're the worst team at the challenge and you're gonna go home, you're standing up there on the chopping block in front of everyone. They go down the line of girls and guys. So it's either guys go first or girls go first. And they'd be like, hey, are you happy with your partner? Or would you want to switch one of these people out and send people home? So it got really savage. When you're in these shows and when you're in this situation, so we're in Fiji, we're in this beautiful island. Like they have a whole island for us. Everything is taken care of. And you have to understand, when you do these shows, you don't have your phone for like 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. You don't have any outside contact for this whole time. Usually the camera guys and the sound guys aren't really talking to you, and they're not really allowed to because they want you to live in that situation. And it is a social experiment because you've got all these people together and you're just pushing them to their limits, and they can't like phone a friend for help. They can't like text their best friend like, what are you doing? I can't wait to be home. There's legitimately no chance for people to reach out to the outside world unless an emergency happens, and then they take care of you. So imagine you're in this situation. You've been on a deserted island and you're not really allowed to talk to anyone apart from the other contestants. And you're being told that the people here are a good match for you. Like one of these people is going to be your perfect person and you're going to grow old together. So you start to believe it. And like you live in this land of like delusion where, again, no outside influence. You don't know what their friends look like. You don't know what they do for work. You don't know if they've got, I was going to say sisters, but you probably would talk about it because I remember saying, yeah, I've got sisters. I got 4 of them and they're great. But you really live in this land of like delusion and absolutely no understanding of like what else is going on in the outside world. Like you don't know there was news. Like on the final day when we were in the finale, we got hit with what do Americans call it? Tornado. But yeah, so we got hit with a cyclone on the last day. So, and none of us had any idea that was going to go on. And we're just on a little fucking island in Fiji getting dicked down by Mother Nature. Anyway, so when we first got on the show, it was the guys separated from the girls. And before we met everyone, we had to see a social media profile of these people before you meet them and pick your top 3. For some reason, every single one of the guys picked the same girl for their top person because this incredible lady, I fully forget her name because it's been so long ago, photoshopped the absolute tits off her photos. Like she catfished everyone like crazy. And I remember there's a video of me talking about it in one of my interviews. I was like, guys, that's not her. Like I remember when I saw the photo on the tablet and then we finally went out to meet all the girls, I legitimately was like, where is she? And all the guys like, wait, where's the girl that that we all said yes to? Maybe she's going to come later. Like she's a surprise guest. But obviously that goes with saying like, I probably definitely didn't have the most real photos on there. Like there was, again, photos of me in my undies and like modeling photos and stuff that were photoshopped, but I still looked like me. I didn't look like, the face app filter Hollywood 3. Anyway, the biggest thing with this is you're told that your perfect person is here and you're going to go through all these obstacles and overcome all this shit together while like being homesick and whatever else. So you really get like a trauma bond with your partner. And when you're also on these shows, everyone is like fighting against each other and talking behind each other's backs. And because that's what has to happen for a TV show. It's not real life. There's all these people that will say one thing to that person and then go say a different thing to that person. Like, oh, did you hear what this person said about you? So it really like gets in your head. So when you have a good partner and you match with them, you kind of like really trust them with absolutely everything because you don't have anyone else to trust. Like you don't know the dudes, you don't know the girls. Everyone's kind of strangers. And then also sometimes the host on that show was a fucking peanut. He was such a dick to everyone. That's why you really get in love with these people. And then once you win a challenge, like you can only be happy with your person, like, cause the rest of the people are like pissed off. So you really get this crazy, bond with them. Another thing is like, sometimes the producers really try and fuck with you. Like I remember some of the interviews, they would be like, oh, did you hear this person say that about you? And I'd be like, no, I didn't. And I'd be like, oh, my bad. We shouldn't have said it. And shit like that. Again, you don't have friends. You don't have a phone. You don't have anything. All you're doing all day is thinking. You're not doing anything else. All you're doing is sitting there and scheming. So your brain is just going a million miles an hour. So you take any little hint or any little clue as like hard evidence that you should make a decision and act on it. So when you hear people say shit like that, or like, oh, wow, would you really like stand for that? You didn't hear it? That's crazy. No worries. We won't talk about it in this interview. It fucking spins you out like crazy. And also the wildest thing on that first show that I did was so how it works is there's a camera here and there's a producer here sitting in front of it. And then you're over there looking at the producer and answering questions. That's why the eye line's always off a little bit. With the first show, I've never seen this before on any of the shows I've ever done since then. When a producer would ask you a question, depending on how they want you to react, they would pull that face, like a happy face or a sad face. So if they're like, oh, how did you feel about your situation there with that girl left? And then it'll be like, and like pull like a sad face. And it would always confuse me. Like I didn't know if it was getting what they wanted, or like, oh, how did you feel about winning the challenge? Did you really like to win? And the smile like crazy big, and it would really like throw me off. And I'm like, am I answering it right? Like I feel like you've just taken a bunch of edibles and you're just like staring into my soul. But anyway, that's kind of what it's like on a reality TV show. Very heightened. It's just a bubble. Nothing else kind of matters. And when you're also in there, you can't think about anything else. Like I didn't think about my family. I didn't think about whatever else. I just thought about what am I doing here? How do I keep moving forward? And how do I survive? Because it turns into your entire world. So the weirdest thing with these reality shows and relationships is once you come off the show, you really get hit with reality. Like you really get like slapped in the face with reality because you realize, wait, I actually don't know this person whatsoever. Like I don't know anything about them. Like they go to work or they're really like jealous or insecure. But that's why it becomes really difficult after the show is there's real life stuff. And usually when people rekindle when the show airs as well, it's because you have to relive all those emotions. You're sitting there like, okay, no one else is going through this like I am apart from that person. And you really like make a sacred bond and a connection. And then kind of once the show is aired and done, you kind of just go back to like, I actually don't know this person. And then they get a little bit jealous, a little bit insecure. And it goes kind of both ways. But the biggest problem with being on these shows is that it's kind of just like normal people that got like super lucky to be on a dating show on a massive network. So when some other people start to do a little bit better than them, they always try and chop them down and come at them, try and get views or clout, whatever else. So hopefully that's a good little backstory on what it's like to date in the reality TV space, especially my first ever show. And my biggest takeaway from doing that first dating show was that I love to entertain. I love to not care about anything and go in there and have fun and make my friends laugh. So that made me want to do more and more dating shows. But also the problem with that is it gets a little bit harder to date in real life. Like people kind of see you as one thing. You always have to explain yourself. You always have to try and prove that you're not that person or whatever is going on. So it makes it really difficult. So I kind of think that maybe my only shot at falling in love is on another dating show. So if The Bachelor would love to have me, I would love to be The Bachelor. But I feel like that's the only other dating show I'm ever going to do after this other one. So now we're going to go to our favorite game, if it looks like a red flag. Now, these are situations that you've put in our little inbox and you want our opinion on it. So this game, the premise of it is we read a situation and we give it a flag. So if it's a green flag, good to go, marry them. If it's a beige flag, it means I don't know, so don't listen to me. And then the red flag is stay the fuck away. So let's get into it, you little porcupines. Situation number 1. You've started talking to someone, but it takes him forever to text back. Okay, here's my only qualm. I'm going to say that's a beige flag because, if he's like me and he's podcasting 10 hours a day, you can't be on your phone at all, but maybe he's in the mining industry. Maybe this guy cleans windows on skyscrapers and he can't be on his phone because if he texts back, drops his phone, then you're never going to get a text back. So I would understand, different from person to person. That's why I give it a beige flag. Maybe he's working his little tushy off to get you guys an amazing house and live forever after. Or maybe he's just not that interested, because you got to think about it. When you're really interested in someone and you get so excited to talk to them, you're going to reply right away, no matter what. I've been in that situation where I'll be waiting for them to send a text or for them to reply, and I'm already right there, and it's a little bit much. But also I've been on the other side where I'm super busy. Like a day like today, I've got so much stuff going on. So I'll just text my person hey, got this going on, I'll text you after. And when they see my phone on Do Not Disturb, that means I'm not going to answer. And I think that's a good kind of boundary to have. Beige flag, it depends, person to person. But I would just ask for a little bit more communication. But if he's not interested, fuck his dad. Anyway, situation number 2. Look at you. He told me I look like his ex. Whoa. And he says he liked her because she looked like his mom. What? So he likes me because I look like his mom? Wait, what? He told me I look like his ex. I've said that to people because all my exes look exactly the same. And he says he liked her because she looked like his mom. And so he likes me because I look like his mom. That's really fucking weird. That's a red flag. If I was dating a girl that looked like my mom, that sounds horrible to say that out loud. I would never even date a girl that looks like my mom. I love my mom to bits. And this is a little bit crazy. Guys, please don't date anyone that looks like your mom. There's all those trends on TikTok where it's siblings or dating. Don't do that. What? I'm not going to date anyone that looks like my sister or my mom. If you find your mom sexually attractive, you deserve a slap at the back of the head. So, if you're sitting here and you're listening, what? My mom is sexually attractive. You should call a therapist. Is it a red flag if a guy has a kid? He still gets along with his baby mama and is not an absent father whatsoever. That's a green flag. Look, we love that. Be a good co-parent. Be a great parent. And the fact that this man has got a kid and that is his goal. He's an amazing father, whatever else, and he's close with his baby mama. That's absolutely incredible. I feel like you'd have to be a very insecure individual to stress about something that happened well and truly before you. If there's not a romantic relationship between the baby mama and him, then who gives a shit? Let's all become best friends. Let's all hang out. Because realistically, if you're going to come to that child's life, you should probably meet the mother first, and you should probably vet your ground before you come to that child's life, because at the end of the day, it's a fucking child. My suggestion is it's a green flag. He sounds like an amazing person. And if something ever happens with you guys, he's always going to take care of that child. He's always going to take care of your little seed. There's too many guys out there that just leave at the drop of a hat, and it's not good. And we want to keep our good mummies and our good daddies. Well, that was fun for another round of If It Looks Like a Red Flag. If you want to submit your scenarios, please go to boyfriendmaterial.iamunwell.com and I will give you a green flag for doing that. Today's segment of Rip from the Headlines, we're going to talk about me because, I'm on reality TV and I love myself. No, I don't. I get very insecure from time to time. But no, we're going to talk about something a little bit more serious, and that is skin cancer, because it is summertime. It's coming up. We're all in the sun. We're all getting a little bit crazy with that sunshine. And I most certainly was about a year ago. I did a tanning bed a few times, and I had some skin cancer pop up that I actually got cut out of my shoulder right there. I had it cut out of my shoulder. It's not fun. It's not a good situation. So when I was getting my skin checked, I don't know if any of you guys have ever done this before, and I'm going to laugh my way through this because that's the only way I kind of deal with trauma. When you get your skin checked and when they find a bit of skin cancer, they check your whole body. And I did not know that. I just came from the gym. I had a sweaty gooch. I did not know what was about to go down. I just thought it was going to be a quick and easy check. Hey, we're all good. So she's like, yep, that's skin cancer. Now we need to check your whole body. And I was like, no, we don't. We don't need to do that. I'm fine. There's no other marks anywhere else. She's like, no, get naked. So they leave the room. I put a gown on. I was freaking out. I tied it up. No one's ever looked at my butt before. I don't want anyone back there. No one's ever looked at my junk like that. So I was afraid. I double knotted this thing around the back of my head and behind me. So when she gets back in the room, the dermatologist and her nurses, they're sitting there and she can't undo it. She was so confused. She's like, why did you tie it up so bad? I was like, I don't know. I'm freaking out. I'm going to pass out. I'm sweating. I'm hyperventilating. I just need to lay down. I just can't believe what you told me. Blah, blah, blah. Absolutely being like an absolute drama queen. So I'm laying there. They lay me down. And I knew it was coming. I knew she's going to have to look at my dick and my balls. So we're trying to have small conversation and small talk. She's telling me oh yeah, I think that's a third nipple, whatever's going on here. Yep, your skin's super pink. You're prone to this stuff, and just keep the conversation super small talk. But she starts to go down towards Big Jim and the twins, and I remember just looking up and just being I just felt the glove around my sausage, and her move my balls around, and then quickly move on. And I remember I was sitting there, I'm I didn't fucking warm up. I didn't shave. Thank God she didn't find anything, because that would have spun me out even further. But because when you're a guy and you're scared and you're nervous, you shrivel the fuck up. So she was probably looking at this what happened to this guy? Where did we go wrong? That is embarrassing, because it's shriveled, it's scared. There's probably a little bit of pee there, to be honest. Now, that's not even the worst part. The worst part was they flipped me over, fully naked on this thing, on a piece of paper, laying down. They flip me over and they start going down my back. And I had a mole cut out of my back before, so we were giggling about that. I didn't realize how extensive they search you, and and how deep they look inside you. So I'm laying there. She's going down my back. Yeah, got a little thing. Grabs my ass and just goes whoop, and stares at my asshole. Now, no one's ever looked at my little chalky starfish before. So as you can imagine, I start freaking out. I'm this lady just saw my brown eye, and I'm so scared because no one's ever done that before. That was the most exposing situation I've ever been in. Because number one, I just came from the gym. I usually shave my legs and my butt. I haven't shaved in a month. I was I wonder what I look like with long hair on my legs. This is the longest hair has ever grown on my body. So I'm sitting there freaking the fuck out because I'm okay, the only time my asshole gets exposed, it's when I haven't taken care of it. That's crazy. That's fucking nuts. Why am I not always prepared? I feel with boxers and fighters, they always go, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I should have taken that mentality on with my asshole and made sure it was shaven and beautiful and manicured. And I remember looking at her and I apologized. I said, I'm so sorry. She said, what? I said, I'm so sorry. I usually shave my ass. And she goes, that's okay. I do this all day. And I'm okay. But she's I see buttholes all day. I'm yeah, but you don't see my butthole. I have a brand to uphold over here. And the fact that you just saw me at my worst is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. If you do go get a skin check, shave your asshole. Let's be a little bit more considerate for everyone. And that is, I'm just saying that to myself right now. I'm going to shave my butthole from this day on for the rest of eternity. I might even wax it and bleach it. I don't know. Because the next time I go in there, I'm going to be so prepared. She's going to have no idea who that asshole belongs to. Because it is going to be absolutely pristine. So next time I get a skin check in 6 months, I am going to blow her mind with how beautiful this butthole is going to look. But I kind of want to explain how it came about and why I got a skin check and what was going on and why it was on my arm for so long. So since last year, I was indulging in sunshine a little bit too much. And I'd only put sunscreen on my face because I thought that that was the only skin that could get affected by skin cancer. But apparently, if you've got skin somewhere, it could probably get skin cancer, which is really scary. And I was outside, I was working on my tan, I was running every day, I was trying to get as much sunshine as I could because I really wanted to be tan to go away and film this show. And this kind of popped up on my shoulder and I kind of just ignored it. I didn't know what skin cancer looked like. I didn't know what was going on. I just thought that that was a fungus on my shoulder and I bought like fungal cream for it and I'd rub it on there and it would just make it like a little bit angry and a little bit sassy at me. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just like let it chill out and do its thing because I don't want to piss it off. Like it's fine. It just, my skin looked like extra pink over here, which I just thought, again, like I'm a pink boy, you know, I've just figured out a new shade. And if it goes all over my body, you know, I'll look like a little lolly. That's not good. You don't want to look like a lolly. But I left it on my shoulder for a minute. And then once I got back from tour, I asked my team, like, let's schedule in a meeting with a dermatologist because there was a few things that I really wanted to look at. And I just never had a check before. And growing up in Australia, it is so common. 1 in 5 people get skin cancer, which is really terrifying. And it's not a good feeling once you get told that you have that. And I remember sitting in that chair when the dermatologist told me, and I started hyperventilating. I've never been close to fainting in my life, but at that moment, I was freaking out. I thought it was the end of the world. I was so scared. I've never been so afraid in my life. So I don't want you guys to go through what I went through and that feeling of being petrified that this is the end of everything. And what she explained to me was that it's kind of habits that happened from when I was a kid. So growing up in Australia, you know, I wasn't always putting sunscreen on. We're always outside. We're always running around. And I love that. And I love that about Australia. But you got to be a little bit more strict on the sun exposure that you have and putting on sunscreen. So after that point, we got a biopsy and it came back positive for skin cancer. Again, terrible, terrifying thing. And I would hate for any of you guys to go through that. When they find your skin cancer and it comes back like positive, there's 3 ways that they can get rid of it. It's the surgery where they can open up your shoulder or open up that flesh and kind of get it fully off, or they scrape it, or there is chemo cream that they can use. Now, all of these leave a big scar, and I was really terrified because it's on my shoulder. It's in a very prominent place, and very, like, people will see it. And unless it's a cool scar where I look like a pirate or something sick, I don't really want it there. Like, I want to flex in the gym photos and not have like a big scar down my arm. So I chose to do the scraping, which is really fucking scary because you're awake and they numb the shit out of it. They put a big needle, they numb it, and they put it in your shoulder or wherever it is. And obviously you can't feel a fucking thing. But the craziest shit is when they're scraping away, my hands were sweating. I was freaking out because you can hear it. I couldn't be more excited for it to end. She had to tilt the chair all the way back because she's like, yeah, he's going to pass out. He's freaking out. I'm like trying to ask her, what are you doing on the weekend? What's going on? Do you love your job? Do you do this every day? She's like, yeah, every day we do it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I hope this never happens again because it was disgusting and terrifying. Please, 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 for me, wear your sunscreen, get your skin checked because I don't want you to go through what I went through. And this is kind of the premise of the whole podcast is learn from my mistakes. Learn from me so you don't have to go through what I went through. I am everyone's little guinea pig. So use me and we're going to go from there. Do you guys say guinea pig in America? Because we say guinea pig. Okay. Do you know what they are? Yeah. Now, on a lighter note, we're going to do our dating, sex, and relationship advice. Again, I'm not very good at dating, but I have great advice. You know, it's kind of like an NFL coach. He's not going to get on the field. He's just going to sit there and yell at everyone. And I'm going to yell at you. Now, these are situations that you're going through and you've submitted for my feedback on. So the first one is from Taylor. Oh, Tay. I've been with my boyfriend for over 2 years, and I've recently caught him picking his nose and eating it. What? I thought it was going to go way worse. I haven't said anything about it. I don't think he even realizes he's doing it in front of me, but I'm so grossed out. Now I don't even want to kiss him or be intimate. What should I do? Taylor, people are dying. People are fucking dying out there, and you're worried about your boy picking his nose. Here's the thing. Also, why is he picking his nose? I don't think I've ever been with someone that picked their nose, but you know, I let a fight out from time to time just to really test the waters with the person that I'm with. Like, are they gonna be with me through thick and thin? I was actually dating this girl, and she said, if you ever fart in front of another girl, I'll never be with you again. And then I posted a TikTok with me farting in front of someone, and that's why we're not together anymore. But look, why is he picking his nose? It is kind of disgusting. I would address it. Just like, look, dude, that's childlike activities. But also, like, it's not a make or break in a relationship. Like, yeah, sure, it makes you feel gross and not want to be intimate. But like, if he's picking your nose and eating it, then I'd be like, okay, that's a little bit gross. Like, don't pick each other's noses. But here's also the thing. People are eating each other's assholes out here. It's like, why are you worried about a little bit of booger? Like, you know, people get drunk and they go home and they'll just lick someone's ring piece. So I don't think it's the end of the world. I just think it comes down to like, hey, brother, what are you doing? Like, stop. If you want to pick your nose, do it in private. Don't do it here. It's kind of like a little cat, you know, he's taking care of himself and like licking his paws and his wound. But I don't think that's a reason to break up with someone. I don't think it's the end of the world. I just think like, hey, that's actually giving me the ick, and that is probably going to snowball into something else and get bigger and bigger. It kind of sounds like maybe you're looking for a reason to hate him. So maybe, yeah, I would just check yourself with them and just tell them that's pretty gross. I've actually got the ick from girls before, and it's kind of a little bit different because my ick, there was one where like girls and people like lift their top lip in like TikToks and then like try and be like swaggy and like aggressive. Like that makes me like so angry. Like, I don't know why. I'm just like, that's gross. Put your top lip down. And also like people that like talk so much when you're in bed or like watching a film. Like there's one time I was with a bunch of friends, and this girl just wouldn't stop asking about Dune, the film with Timothy Chalamet, with that guy and Zendaya. She wouldn't stop asking questions about what happens and what's going on. I'm like, you know, if you fucking watch the film, like if you just zip your lip like a padlock, we would be able to understand what's going on as well. And then we can all like collectively sit down as a team and figure out what actually went on in the film. Those drive me crazy. Those two things. And there's one other thing, but I can't say it because I'm seeing someone right now. And I know if I say it, I probably won't be seeing her anymore. Anyway. Question number 2 from Jess. Whoa, Jizzy Jess. Hi, Harry. What are your biggest deal breakers when it comes to relationships? Well, my biggest deal breakers are when they're unambitious. Like, I want to be with someone that has insane goals because I'm super ambitious and I want to feel inspired by the person that I'm with. You know, they if they smoke, again, everyone's different. I just don't like stinky breath. I just don't like smoky breath. Veneers kind of do that as well. I don't know if anyone's ever like smelled someone's breath with veneers. Kind of smells gross. Someone who like, this has happened, someone who's taken a photo of my credit card and used it and flown themselves out here. And I thought, oh, it's a really nice gesture. You came out by yourself. And they're like, oh, no. You paid for it. You just didn't know. And someone who's a bad listener. Like we got to, you know, the podcast, I love to talk. I love to hang out with you guys. I love to like vent about what's going on in my life because sometimes you have to say things for it to be like a sounding board, for it to kind of make sense in your world. That's kind of it. Those are my deal breakers. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if I'm being picky, but the biggest one is like, just be ambitious. I love someone who sets goals and gets up in the morning and gets shit done and works towards their goals, because I want to be with someone that just gets me so inspired and fired up to be the best version of myself. Sometimes, you know, we're in relationships where someone is just like fucking around and dicking around, and it doesn't make me excited to be with them. Question 3 from Sam. Whoa, what up, sandwich? What? Sandwich? Why did I say that? So dumb. My boyfriend's best friend, Sean, cheated on his girlfriend. About a year ago, Sean fucked a MILF in his truck at a bar. Let's go. I love my MILFs. And then went back home to his girlfriend, Kelly. What? I used to not like Kelly when my boyfriend and I first started dating, but now we've become really good friends. I feel guilty for knowing this information and not telling her, but I feel like I've known about this for way too long to tell her. Sean and Kelly live together and are in it for the long haul. I swore to my boyfriend I would never tell her, but I hate cheaters. What should I do? This situation sucks because if you get involved, then you're involving yourself in their drama. Then you could ruin things with your boyfriend or whatever else. At the end of the day, if it is eating you up at night, I don't want to be involved with anyone else's drama. I don't want to facilitate shit to be toxic or whatever else. Maybe she does know. I'm not too sure. Probably not by the sounds of it if they do live together. How do you think Kelly will handle this when you tell her? How do you think this whole situation is going to go down from a bird's eye perspective? That's why I'm saying don't get involved. You don't need to. It's not your drama. Someone's going to find out. Maybe a terrible bit of advice would be to just tell someone else, someone who loves the gossip, because then it will go around and then I'm sure it will come full circle and then you get it off your chest. You get it out of the way. It just probably won't happen as quick as you want. So good luck, Sam. I support you in your decision. Just be careful because once you get caught up in that mess, especially if she takes him back. Question number 4 from Virginia. Was there a specific moment that made you want to turn your image around into boyfriend material? If it wasn't pinpointed moment, why did you want to? I love you, silly sausage. Virginia, to be honest, I think that after being on these dating shows and kind of just being branded as someone taught to handle, right? We're all branded as sex addicts, even though we weren't. Not everyone was feeling freaky. Not everyone was as sexually open as other people. We were kind of branded in that way of hey, these people are sex freaks, sex demons. And it kind of haunted me for a little bit where I'm I just don't want to be seen like that anymore because there would be some people that wouldn't take me serious. Maybe I meet a girl and she's my absolute dream girl. And she's well, I saw you on the show and I thought you were like this. But at the end of the day, it's reality TV. So I think being on Dance with the Stars really made me realize that I don't have to be sexual online and talk about all this craziness and crazy stuff to continue to grow my audience and continue to entertain people. I can just be funny and enjoy it. It's just really hard sometimes to pivot from what you're branded as and what people know you as because you don't want to stray too far away from that because you don't want people to be oh, he changed and he's weird. There wasn't a specific moment. It's just kind of inevitable. I'm not always going to be 21 how I was on that show. And there's got to be moments where I grow. And that's where I'm at now. I'm growing, I'm evolving, I'm adapting. And, I'm ready to be dad material, to be honest. That's why I love Bruce. Question number 5 from Bailey. What up? Biscotti Bailey? That doesn't sound fun. Hi, Harry. What's your opinion on a male using porn while in a long-term relationship? How do you think this affects relationships in the long run? If roles were reversed, would you be okay with it? Oh, Bailey, you got me there with the last one. I think that porn is not good. I know it's going to sound crazy. I'm just not the biggest fan of porn at the end of the day. I don't think it's good. It sets unrealistic expectations. People think that sex is meant to be that way, but I realize the best sex I've had is slow and deep and intimate and when you love someone and you really connect with that person. It's kind of like Avatar when they pull their little hair and they connect it like that. I feel the sex that is so much more better than just slamming away and trying to God cock someone down. Again, if you guys are in a long-term relationship, I would wonder why. Why is he looking up porn? What's going on? Let's have a conversation about it. If my girlfriend from a long-term relationship was watching porn and there was something on there that maybe I don't have or I'm not doing right, I would be curious as to why. Maybe watch it together, see if it sparks something with both of us. But I wouldn't feel too comfortable with it. I'm going to be completely honest. If I was dating a girl and she was watching porn, crazy porn after a while, and I'm not saying all porn is bad. I'm just saying it's probably not the best thing. And it also just sets unrealistic expectations. If there's something going on in that aspect, I would just talk about it and try and figure out how can we do it together? How can I be better for you in that department? Because again, if that's your girl, if that's your boyfriend, you really just want to make sure you understand each other's bodies and you know each other deep down and can get the job done. Because yeah, especially after a while, it may get a little bit boring. Question number 6 from Anonymous. That's a random name. Why'd your parents name me that? That's so silly. Anyway, so I love my boyfriend. He's the marriage material. He's the whole package. Love of my life type boyfriend. Here comes the but. I absolutely hate his mom. I dread every moment I have to spend with her. She's overbearing and in your face rude. Comments on every flaw and compares me to all of my boyfriend's exes. This woman is incredibly hard to be around. My boyfriend obviously loves her as he should. He wants her to move countries and live next door to us. Have you ever had this problem? What should I do? I love you, Harry. Shrimping it ain't easy, baby. What the fuck does that mean? What does shrimping it ain't easy? I don't know what that means, but I guess it isn't easy. You are dating your boyfriend, not the mom. And this is sometimes a problem in relationships where their friends are involved or their family's like super involved. There was someone I was seeing and they would go back to their family about everything. And I explained to them like, hey, it feels like I'm dating 6 people because I'll have a conversation with you. Everything's fine. You'll go have a conversation with your counsel and they'll come back with something different. And then I'll have to have another argument and try and figure my way through it. Just understand you're with your boyfriend. He's got to understand that as well. Like, hey, mom is scaring me. She's a scarecrow and I don't really want to be around her as much. And you also don't have any obligation to be around her and deal with her shit. If she really cared about her son, she would want to see him happy and not try and jeopardize something that is amazing. I would legitimately say to your boyfriend, she's scaring me. I'm worried. I love you to bits. I think you're marriage material, but I cannot continue to go see her, whatever else. You also don't owe her anything. Like, there's someone very close to me that hates their partner's dad. And whenever they've got a kid and everything's going on, and he legitimately does not like the dad so much that he will like leave when he comes into town. And that's completely fine. It keeps them healthy, keeps them not worrying about shit. There's absolutely no obligation. Obviously, in a perfect world, we would all love to have amazing like parents-in-law and make sure that everything's like great between them. But I just would take the pressure off yourself. If the mom is making little snarky comments, if the mom isn't being great and supportive and is always comparing you to other people, you don't need to go into a situation where you know you're going to get chopped down. You know you're going to feel bad about it. You know you're going to be upset leaving that. You want to go into rooms where you feel inspired, excited, and you leave that feeling good about the whole situation. There shouldn't be a moment where you're dreading going to see your partner's family. I would just leave it at that. I would just say, look, brother, you are my man's. I love you. I want to be with you forever. You're marriage material. Everything's amazing. It's just your mom really scares me. So if you would respect me enough to be okay with me not coming to home with you and whatever else and like not hanging out with your mom, because it really starts there, because it's going to snowball into something else. She will say something super outlandish and it could absolutely ruin your relationship and ruin something amazing. Just remember, you're dating that guy. You're not dating whatever comes with it. It's just that person, that relationship, and focus on that. And if you are a couple, you're going to see the situations as a team. Like, we're a team. There's the problem. How do we move through this together instead of like, why is it going to separate us? Just understand that you don't owe him anything. Well, you do because you're your boyfriend, but you don't owe her anything. So I don't know if that helps. I really hope it does, but I really hate that you're going through that. So the next one is from Sydney. I just found out my ex-boyfriend has a new girlfriend. It's been 8 months since our 3-year relationship ended, and I haven't done anything with anyone yet. I'm wondering, is it easier for a guy to move on physically? And as a guy, do you think of your exes when you have sex post-breakup? Sydney, this is the craziest shit about guys is we are so quick to move on. Whenever there's it's so quick to be physical and try and move on in that aspect. But just understand, really, we're not happy. Like, we're really like trying to fill a void or trying to fill something to make ourselves feel validated in that situation and that breakup. My biggest piece of advice is try and cut out any information or any contact with that side. You don't need to have him in your life at all, especially right now, especially after a breakup. I know it's 8 months, but if you're with someone for 3 years, that's a long fucking time. And you don't need to hear about that stuff. You don't deserve to hear about it. It's like, it's just going to it's just going to kill you. So yes, it is a lot easier for dudes to move on, but that's not a good reason. That's not great. It's not something to be proud of. Guys will legitimately, like, after a breakup, go and have sex with people and try and like pursue something physically and try and act like they're like macho man and everything's great and there's no problems. But ladies, I've noticed this with my friends, like they take a little bit more time to mourn. They process it, they go through it, they find peace, they find love again. So that's why it's a lot harder, like for girls to take guys back, especially after a while. And because especially like guys do dumb shit like this. They'll go and like fuck someone right away and they'll try and fill that void, whatever else. So I legitimately would just know that you're in the best position because you're processing it and you're grieving absolutely perfectly. Guys are silly in this situation. They'll go, they'll fuck, they'll do something dumb, and they'll be sitting there worried about, was it the right decision? What's going on? I wish that person would be more like this. The biggest thing that helps me move on from a breakup is really falling in love with myself. And I know that's a lot easier said than done, but going and doing things that build me up as a person, whether that's reading a book, whether that's learning a new skill, whether that's just being comfortable being alone, because especially if you're with someone for 3 years, you haven't really had a moment to be alone and think about yourself and what makes you happy. So I would set goals. There's this thing that me and my team do, is called a 3-1-3. So we set 3-year goals. Then we're like, if we're going to achieve that in 3 years, what are we going to achieve in 1 year to get to that point? And then if we're going to hit that in 1 year, what are we going to do in 3 months to get to that point? So work your way back, set your goals, and stay focused on that. And don't worry about any other distractions, because once you're focused on the future, you're not going to worry about the present and the past and what's going on with that dude. You're going to be like, cool, I'm happy for him. I hope he does whatever he needs to do. I'm focused on becoming the best version of myself and continuing to strive forward. Guys, that was so much fun. I hope you got something out of whatever advice I gave. I hope there's some funny moments. Please wear your sunscreen. Please get your skin checked. And please don't date silly boys. If you do have any questions or scenarios, or you want to be featured on the show, please go to boyfriendmaterial.iamunwell.com. And we did it again. I can't believe you're back. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Please follow Boyfriend Material on Instagram. We do post a lot on there and we're crushing it. We're over 100,000 followers right now, which is incredible. So subscribe on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, because we're growing and it's all because of you guys. You're the best. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Rate us 5 stars and I will give you a kiss on the nipples. Yeah.